G'day. Unfortunately, my screenshots of this blog post that I'm doing a video on is all I have. The actual blog that was written has been deleted. Supposedly they deleted it due to them getting over their personal beefs with Steam, and apparently there'll be a new piece or a set of pieces coming soon if people keep acting like Steam is the home of PC gaming. Something that I myself don't really see, but here's the screenshot of them replying to me when I asked about it. Just keep in mind as well not to go and abuse the person or anything, or annoy them for whatever reason. That's not something that I encourage. And if you are one of those types of people that are going to do that, then I don't want you watching my stuff or following me on YouTube or anything like that. It's not the kind of company that I want to keep. I'm not interested in calling this person out personally or attacking them though. I want to go over their blog and critique their approach and counter their points. Maybe even offer some advice that someone watching this video could use either for their own writing or to inform another person that takes a hostile approach like this. I wouldn't say that I'm a great writer or anything though, so please take my advice with a grain of salt and maybe think of using it as a baseline only just to start and, improve your knowledge from there. I just want to point out before I actually start that the format is terrible. This is what I was looking at on my screen. It's gross. No one should ever do this. Steam and its fanboys are trash. So the first point I can cover just in the title alone. It's already on the emotional side. Fanboys are trash, I'll give it that. Fanboys are a terrible aspect of gaming and they don't help the industry in any meaningful way at all. But the blogger also feels the need to attack Steam directly. It's a bit of a bold claim, but let's read on. Steam and all who defend it are trash. Let's go on a tangent for a moment. I assure you, my thoughts will become sharp as a sword in due time. In the meantime, here is a preview of what is to come to dethrone Steam powered. Get ready for real combustion, Steam. You play with fire, you get burned. Really selling it here. Steam has gone from being a great service to a hindrance on the industry as it breeds console mentality on a platform which was never supposed to be monopolized. Yes, they do have a monopoly on their defenders' very minds. Well, Steam doesn't actually hold any power over the industry in the same way a console manufacturer would. They only sell games and provide social features and easy to download mods through the workshop, essentially. Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft would be closer to a hindrance on the industry due to holding games back, over-advertising out-of-date hardware, offering inferior services in comparison to the PC, etc., etc. This monopoly on minds will get more interesting, I assure you. While consoles are hardware locked, Steam uses gamification and collections and other tactics to make you add value to their system in your mind. Not sure why collections is in air quotes. If they meant collections as in the collection of games, well, what's wrong with having a collection on the one store? Just like some people are completely against buying digital games, they'd rather have just the one collection of games through physical means. There's nothing wrong with having everything organized in one tidy spot. So I'm unsure if the blogger was trying to be sarcastic or not. And if they were, I'm not sure why they needed to be sarcastic about this. Where console players are locked into a hardware platform, Steam locks down your minds. Where consoles earn their 30% through hardware warranties, replacements, massive marketing campaigns and more, Steam just sits back and clones everyone who seems like they might be competitive with them. Okay, so they've decided to touch on the 30% revenue split. Well, in regards to the marketing campaigns, they are either paid for by the devs or publishers in order to get the game more traction, or Sony or Microsoft will purchase advertising rights themselves. Not sure how that entitles them to a 30% split when Valve also does advertising on their platform. Don't forget that Metro Exodus was heavily advertised for pre-order on the front page of Steam for a while before it was taken down due to the Epic exclusivity deal. It's not as if you don't get any advertising at all through Steam. Steam doesn't just sit back and do nothing either. They offer a refund system that doesn't have to be fought against, forums for devs to connect with their fans and give out updates to their games, a community section that contains many helpful tips, walkthroughs, bug fixes and general discussions, and even a user review system to help highlight what a game is doing right or wrong. A very handy tool for consumers. If making the hardware that a console game plays on is enough to earn a 30% split, then I'd like to hear from this person how much money Nvidia, Intel, and AMD should be making from game sales on PC. Discord was starting a store. Steam cloned their chat interface. Discord being a better social app is what pushed for Valve to improve their social features. The chat capabilities of Discord are the most advertised and sought after features that highlighted how bad Steam's were in comparison, not the store. Twitch was starting a store. Steam made broadcasting. Steam broadcasting works fine, and it's not as if it's a heavily advertised competitor to Twitch itself, but it's a nice feature to have as an option. When I played The Forest just recently, I used Steam broadcasting so my sister could watch us play, and I didn't have to worry about doing a Twitch or Mixer stream for public viewing. I could set the stream to just friends only. Epic was starting a store. Steam makes CSGO free. Previously kept it paid, saying it keeps out cheaters, deters cheaters to pay for something, with a Battle Royale mode. Valve making CSGO free has no correlation with Epic launching their store. It's important to keep your points related to each other and not veer off into too much of a tangent. Clone after clone, never even remotely as good as what they are cloning, jackasses of all trades, masters of only brainwashing consumers who don't know how gamification works on their little brains. People recognize Valve's shortcomings. No one is brainwashed to the point they tried to claim Steam broadcasting is better than Twitch, for example. I applaud any person who decides not to publish on Steam. Not that you need my blessing, there are many reasons not to publish on Steam. Why would someone applaud a dev or publisher for not releasing a game on Steam? Shouldn't as many options as possible be available in order to have the best user experience? Is this an admission to the fact that this blogger doesn't like other gamers? Because it certainly comes across as such when you happily support limited purchasing options. Steam funnels users in and keeps them trapped there. Steam sells games. They don't hold any games hostage through exclusivity deals, nor do they hold any gamers hostage. If people choose to only shop with Steam, it's because it's a better option for them. Nothing wrong with preferences. Developers, aren't you tired of people being funneled into a black hole marketing mechanic that keeps them going to Steam forums that undermine your own social presences and efforts in maintaining your own community sites? Yes, you are. It is resoundingly obvious and I applaud you for it. Using the Steam forums doesn't undermine the social presence of devs. They can use the forums if they wish, or they could use other social apps and just let people on forums spread whatever news themselves. How is this a bad thing? Is the maximum dissemination of information to your fans a negative? Should Twitter, Facebook, Steam forums, Instagram, Reddit, any other site that hosts anything news related to a game be banned? Should any and all info related to a game only be made available on a website for the game itself? Sounds like a really terrible way to get your news. PC gaming is the home of Steam, yet there are toxic trashy people who think that it's the other way around, that Steam is the home of PC gaming. They are backwards. I'd like to see these supposed toxic people, as I've never heard anyone try to say Steam is the home of PC gaming. A new generation is coming online as we speak. They are leaving consoles for PC because they are realizing that it is freer. If they are funneled into Steam, they just become console gamers on PC. They never actually benefit or change anything but the platform to perhaps oversimplify it. The illustration in the point is still valid. How does someone become just a console gamer on PC? If they shop with Steam, it just means they are buying games from Steam. Console gaming means to give up on consumer choice and gaming options. Choosing to shop with Steam doesn't limit you as a gamer in the same way a console does. Your PC is not locked to using Steam and Steam only. Your PC games won't have graphic features locked for shopping with Steam, and you won't suddenly have to pay for online. So it's a bit of a ridiculous claim to make. Walmart has entered the gaming PC market because all the kids know that PC is the place they can play and stream and become influencers, which are who drive them. For this reason, influencers absolutely are essential to fixing the mess that Steam has made of the open platform. And what mess is that exactly? The mess where Steam is the best launcher for consumers? Usually when making a claim, you would back it up with an explanation. Me saying consoles are bad and moving on doesn't tell you anything, does it? It's a good idea to expand on your points and offer a reason to have this viewpoint. Otherwise, if you're not going to explain why something is the way that it is, you're essentially just pissing against the wind, so to speak. Steam Play? Really? That's for Linux. An OS that has gone from 5% market share to 1.7% market share in 3 years. Well, if that's the case, it's gross incompetence in budgetary allocation, because where are the games your fans have been asking for? Where are the sequels? Oh, a card game, really? But see, that's not the case. The case is that Steam is trying to make their own closed platforms now. Steam has always pretended to be about open markets and empowering players, yet all they do is clone everyone else. They don't innovate anymore. They try to be what they claim they are against. Well, I'm not sure how Steam Play is a bad thing, nor do I see how Valve has been slowly pushing to a closed platform. Epic has been pushing for a closed environment where they're the sole sellers of certain games. Valve has been open for many years. I understand the frustration many fans have about Valve not making a sequel to at least one of the games that they've created, but to whinge about it in this way is borderline entitlement. Valve aren't interested in making a sequel to any of their games right now. That's reality. This doesn't even have any bearing on Steam apparently being trash either. Again, it's just a personal rant that's veered off from what the topic of the blog is supposed to be. Also worth noting is that Linux has hovered around 2% in terms of market share over the last 3 years, so I'm unsure where this 5% claim came from. I'll link an article in the description, but there's an article that actually shows Linux having its largest market share increase to 3.37% back in March. Steam has banned 2 users who were the voices of dissent in a discussion about Epic versus Steam. Both were following the rules. One was banned because he reported someone after responding to them, which Steam saw as an excuse to ban them. Now, I neither believe this blogger nor do I think they're lying. There just simply isn't enough evidence to confirm they were breaking the rules or abiding by them. So make of this what you will. Feel free to pause or come back to this screenshot if you feel the need to. So that user was reasonable. That user was me. Then decided to report the individual because the individual has been stalking and harassing me for a very long time. Because that user is friends with moderators, he gets away with it. They literally ban people for friends who are breaking rules, and this user has harassed me for years. I played with him psychologically for many moons in the face of his abuse. Eventually I got tired of it and started reporting him. He was very candid about how he's friends with mods and he's going to get me banned, which he now brags about. 6 times I've been banned for reporting this guy, by the way, which brings us to Steam's biggest problems. The other user was merely informing people of the facts, which he was diligently compiling by asking the people behind Epic Games Store for clarification. He was a much less abrasive character than I, yet they silenced dissent there because they do not want anyone to know just how mentally manipulated Steam has left them as PC gamers. Master race my ass. Again, it's another claim with no evidence. Not so sure about the harassing and stalking, but it's possible. Same with the user supposedly being buddy with a moderator. It's definitely a plausible scenario, but there's no evidence of it, and this doesn't even tie into why Steam is trash or how exactly Valve is pushing for a closed platform. It's a personal rant with no bearing on the story this person is trying to tell. This claim that people are silencing others in order to hide any mental manipulation from Steam is another claim that isn't backed by any forms of evidence, just a very wild claim. And what about that Lord Gabe crap? Why does he get the credit for the sales that you set? Ridiculous. This is just a meme. I can't believe I have to actually explain this, but for anyone who is somehow unaware, the praise Lord Gaben thing is nothing more than a meme. Says a lot about this blogger's writing ability when memes get a reaction like this out of them. Which brings us to the next problem with Steam's toxic user base and corporate practices. Nepotism and xenophobia. Oh boy. Trust me when I tell you, world, Steam is through being top dog. All those who defend it now will be the jokes of the future. Weirdos who think Steam is the home of PC gaming. Console players, but worse, because at least console players have no other option. Steam users are brainwashed to think it's the only option. Far more nefarious than a hardware lock. It's a mental lock. It's dangerous to PC ecosystem, and it's every bit as bad as Windows Store UWP things they were trying to do. Again with the brainwashing claims. First of all, being locked to a console and choosing to stick with it is just as bad. Console players do have another choice. It's called the PC. And the PC is full of many options for gamers. Nobody thinks Steam is the only option. There are some who might only use Steam, but that's their preference and their personal choice. No harm is being done to the gaming community by only shopping through Steam. Valve doesn't have the control over people this blogger thinks they do. Console fanboys are easily the most vocal, known, and dangerous entities in the gaming community. Put your games on Epic Store if they will have you. Sell them on your own sites. Sell them where you know the people who buy them want them for your game, not just review bombers. Did you know there are people who play Battlefield who used to buy COD just to review bomb and refund it? This is true, there are groups for it, similar to cheating rings who cheat in COD to make people hate it, which are the same people who put the Preacher bot in World War II for whatever the reasons they seek to destroy. No one seeks to destroy more than toxic Steam loyalists. I promise you, Steam loyalists are not worth entertaining anymore. They will be replaced by many more not yet brainwashed kids. They are moot, so leave them to talk crap, take the high road and crush Steam's monopoly. Make Steam fair again, because Steam's model has been dated for at least 6 years now. These Steam loyalists, I've never even seen. Console fanboys? Good luck making it through YouTube or even Twitter without coming across some sort of peasant either making a ridiculous claim or videos where people are making fun of their points or debunking them. It's very common. As for the other people described, they're toxic gamers. Not a new thing in gaming, but again, what bearing does this have on Steam being trash? Or Valve pushing for a closed environment? Or how does this relate to people who choose to shop through Steam because of personal choice? Ignoring the irony of writing a blog post to Steam loyalists and claiming they're not worth entertaining, Steam doesn't have a monopoly. To have one, they need to have full control of the PC gaming market and become the sole seller of games on the PC. This isn't the case at all. Epic is moving towards this. They are actively trying to become the sole seller of games and they're pushing for a monopoly. So to say that this isn't happening and Valve are the ones who have the monopoly and are in control is to turn your face away from reality. Even in cases where you sell less copies, at least you are growing a real fan base that isn't just buying your game on the cheapest key site possible to farm a few cards. At least then you can leave the idiot trash in the echo chamber they belong in. Let them dig their own holes. This all mirrors a lot of things in politics right now. Even if someone were to buy a game to farm cards, devs are after a profit, aren't they? So they're still earning the money. Valve doesn't actually get a cut from these third-party websites anyway. They allow infinite Steam keys but don't get any of the money from them. Sounds like a good deal, but this blogger would rather a dev earn less money through a launcher just so Steam can't sell it. Not only is this person anti-gamer, but they've just outed themselves as anti-developer. Not too sure if this person actually even likes video games at this point. Rally your real fans. Make influencers from normal users. Have influencers help to promote. Paid and unpaid alike. Gabe Newell has lied through his teeth for years, and Tim Sweeney and Epic Games' actions have fully exposed that. Literally fuck any mouth breather who denies it. They will go away and everyone will be happier. How has Epic Games exposed Gabe's lies? And for that matter, what lies? Oh, of course, an actual explanation to go along with the claim is a little too much to ask, I guess. They are a company that siphons the largest share for the least work. They are a company who says one thing with motives in a different accord from what they say. They have no real growth. They are a glorified buy button that no one needs anymore. Everyone has their own account authenticators or DRM now. Fuck Steam. I know this post is all over the place. You wait until I get my thoughts together. This is just the beginning. You're fucking done, Gabe. Well, a nice little bit of advice is to have your thoughts together before you write something. Have your thoughts together before you say anything and try to argue against people. Because if you haven't collected your thoughts and you just start spouting random shit, it turns into this, where you're theorizing about people being brainwashed. You start complaining about Steam holding people to their platform, and you don't even address the points in your actual article. And even claims of xenophobia. That word is pretty much just thrown into the blog and never addressed again. He never talks about how Steam is supposedly xenophobic. It's just thrown in there just for the sake of complaining about Steam. I do also like how this person claims that Gabe is fucking done, almost as if they're fighting some sort of good fight. The blog post was deleted anyway, and as far as I've seen, this was the only blog post they had, and I had a quick look at the person's Twitter. They didn't have anything related to this subject. They didn't link any blogs or have any other discussions with people. So as far as I know, this is the only attempt that they've done at fighting Gabe. I just want to also point out that it's a bit odd that they're taking Epic's side in this little battle, so to speak, between Epic and Valve. And they say how Valve is a company who says one thing, but they have motives different from what they say. Just want to bring up that Tim Sweeney mentioned that this whole exclusivity bullshit that's only harming consumers right now, he originally said it wasn't going to be a long-term thing, then turned around and said that they're just going to keep doing it. And they're not only just going to keep doing it, but he said regardless of whether or not a game is already on Steam, they're going to look into this as a standard practice for them right now. So, I guess what? Because Tim Sweeney is honest about his shitty business practices that he's pursuing, that's okay. They didn't even provide examples of what Valve has done. Just a little video link to Crobcat's video on Gabe Newell talking about Half-Life 3 over the years and how his attitude has changed throughout, which doesn't really mean anything. It just shows that they were keen on Half-Life 3 and then decided not to pursue it any further. That doesn't really support or expand on the blogger's original point. I hope at least one person can learn something from this very poorly written blog post and maybe even gain some sort of insight into how disconnected some people are from this Steam versus Epic conversation. I mean, you've got this person hating the fact that gamers have the freedom to shop with Steam or not if they wish, and also wishing devs can make less money from games. How are you supposed to take someone like this seriously? They never even fully addressed what it is that makes Steam trash. They addressed what made fanboys trash, and that's not very hard to do because just the sentence alone should tell you all you need to know. There's nothing good about a fanboy. Nobody likes fanboys except for other fanboys due to confirmation bias. So really, this blog comes across as more of a personal rant for supposedly being banned, but we don't have the full screenshot, so who knows what kind of attitude they were actually showing. And a bit of a jab against Steam and blindly backing Epic Games for restricting games to their platform only and taking them away from Steam. No discussion was had, no insight was given, and there's not really anything you can read from this to take away and learn from, unless of course you're going to use this as a bad example or an example of how not to conduct yourself. You can at least take that away and learn from that. But I hope you guys got some enjoyment out of this. I definitely enjoy reading through these things and, countering points and everything and trying to offer something that somebody could learn. I like to try to set a good example for others to learn from. I believe that people should be an example worth following as opposed to an example to laugh at. Until the next video, have a good one.
This guy tonight right here, we're not gonna live in this. Yeah, your skin exposed and fresh, holding on to every breath. We are just waiting.